Hi guys, and welcome back to JavaScript Playground. In this video, we will try to parse the response and generate HTML elements using the response data coming from the backend. So far, what we've done is we've parsed the response string into JSON array and we've printed it over here. So instead of printing it, let's try using it. So let's put this in a variable. So var, let's say, response. So now this response variable holds the entire list that we are getting from the backend. And because it's a list, we can run a loop. So let's say var I equals to 0, I less than response.length, and I plus plus. So we're just iterating this list. Let's try printing the values. So if you notice, this object has a title and an ID and a completed status. So let's try printing these. So let's say response at I. So if you remember the JSON video, we tried accessing the values of individual object. So response.I will return the JSON object at the position I, and to accept the value title, we can simply do dot title. So when I save it, so it prints all these titles in the console. But we also want the ID, so let's try printing that as well. So response at I, so it will give us the object at position I, followed by dot and ID. So that dot ID will access the ID attribute from the JSON object. So as you can see, we're getting the ID and the text. So far so good. Now what we want to do is we want to use these values to generate HTML elements. So if you check the code here, this is where we were creating new nodes. So let's copy this and create a new function. Let's say create to do dynamically. Let's paste it here. So what we were doing is we were creating a list element. We were creating a text node. We were appending the text node to the list element. And we were giving this list element an ID. And we were returning that newly created list element. Now we can pass the title and ID to this function. So let's say ID comma title. So instead of this current input value, this title will be coming from the backend. So we can simply do dot title. And similarly for ID, we are already getting it from the backend, so we can simply use that value. Now instead of printing these values, let's try printing the newly created elements. So create to do dynamically. Let's pass the ID and the title. Let's save it and coming back. And as you can see, it's creating these list items with ID and different titles. So instead of printing it, we can simply append it to the main list. And the main list is represented or is stored in this list variable. So let's give that a try. So to append an HTML element to a parent element, we can simply do parent element dot append child, and in parentheses we can pass this child element. So when we save it, coming back here, and as you can see, we've got all these to-do elements which are generated dynamically, or which are generated by using the data which was coming from the backend. So that's how you use data from the backend to generate HTML elements. So we've already learned about how to create new HTML elements using JavaScript. So all we were doing it, instead of using the local data, we were getting data from the backend, and we were using that data to create new HTML elements, and we were appending it to the list. That's all for today. I hope this gave you a better understanding how to parse data and how to create HTML elements using that data. So if you have any doubts or queries, feel free to drop a comment below or reach out to me on Twitter. I'll add my Twitter handle in the description below. See you in the next video. Bye and take care.